I'm Jim Malatras. I'm the Governor's Deputy Secretary for Policy Management. In a moment, the members of the Commission will introduce themselves, followed by remarks by the Commission's Chair, Dick Parsons, and then followed by Governor Cuomo. But first, I'd like to give a brief overview of the Commission. Since taking office, the Governor has made transforming our state's public education system a top priority so the next generation of New York students have the tools they need to compete in the global society. To help take on this task, in his 2012 State of the State message, the Governor called for the creation of a commission made up of top education, community, and business leaders. This commission is specifically tasked to closely examine the current structure of our state's education system, including the ways we recruit and retain top quality teachers, how to improve student achievement, education, funding, distribution, and cost, engaging parents and families, the issues surrounding high needs and low wealth communities, improvements upon the newly enacted teacher evaluation system, and the best use of technology in the classroom. The Commission will hold multiple public hearings across the state to gather input from stakeholders. The Commission has been tasked with making preliminary recommendations for an action plan by December 2012 to the Governor prior to next year's legislative session. The Commission will submit final recommendations by September 2013. The Governor has dedicated two of his top education staff to the Commission, Katie Campos, the Assistant Secretary for Education, and Lonnie Threet, Assistant Secretary for Higher Education.
That, Mr. Chairman?
Well,
the floor is yours.
I'll say first a word to my fellow Commission members and to the press. I am a graduate of PS 45, Junior High School 142, and John Adams High School here in New York City, all public schools. And so, as my wife likes to say about me, you know, I'm a walking, breathing example that you can come through the system and not be permanently impaired. That's about as much as she'll give me. I used to run some companies around town. Most recently, I just stepped down as chairman of Citigroup. Before that, I was chairman and CEO of Time Warner. And before that, chairman of something called the Dime Savings Bank. So a lot of experience in New York as an employer, as well as an exemplar of the city's public school systems. But perhaps most importantly, I want to echo something Kathy Nolan said. I'm a grandparent. My grandson is just about to enter the New York City public schools. So I thought that this exercise would not only benefit from the perspective of a parent, but of a grandparent as well. There's a lot of grandparents, unfortunately, with who are superintending their kids through these schools. And so I'm first of all grateful to the Governor for reaching out and asking me to be a part of this. I'm thrilled to be able to say I'm going to serve with all of the people around this table and those who you heard named who couldn't be here today, because it's more than the usual suspects. I mean, it is a group of truly distinguished individuals in their own rights, but people who have a commitment to education and to improving education that is not only remarkable, but it's admirable. And so I'm just pleased to be with them. A word or two about how the Commission is going to sort of approach this, even though this is our inaugural meeting. I mean, none of us are here today to sort of beat up on the public school system and point out necessarily all the things that are wrong. In point of fact, there are many excellent schools in New York and doing great work and turning out really terrific young men and women. And the challenge is, how do we replicate that excellence across the system? How do we, engage in what some writers are now calling whole system reform, so that the excellent schools are not the exception to the rule, that all schools are excellent and all of the kids who are coming out of those schools have had an opportunity to be exposed to an excellent teacher, to an excellent school system, and to develop their talents to the maximum. And that's, I think, what we're going to be doing. We're going to be trying to figure out how do you make excellence a systemic reality across the board, as opposed to exception. And I think, you know, I commend the governor for his not only courage in taking this on, because this is something that can fail. A lot of people have taken a shot at this particular target and not had a whole lot to show for it. But the governor, I think, knows that there's no silver bullet, but that if you get the right people around and you ask the right questions, you can come up with some answers that'll make a difference, and that's what we hope to do and to give you, Governor. And I not only applaud your courage for doing this or undertaking this, I applaud your wisdom for doing it, because at the end of the day, I will tell you as someone who spent the last 15, 20 years more in the international arena than the local arena, talent is coming from everywhere now. Talent is coming from all points of the globe, and our young people are going to be challenged in a way that, frankly, people in my generation, I just had to, you know, outrun the kids on my block. Nowadays, our young people are going to have to outrun the kids coming from everywhere. And their only shot is a school system that serves them well and gives them the strength and the tools and the confidence to do that. So this is obviously timely. It's obviously important. And finally, I commend your commitment to the task, because what I've been impressed with, your guy gets things done. If we come back to you with some sensible and thoughtful recommendations, you'll make them happen. So I agree with Jeff. You know, if we fail, it's on us, right? It's on the people in this room. And, you know, everybody around this table likes a challenge, understands the dimension of what's in front of us and the importance of what's in front of us. And so we're going to do our best to give you the best ammunition we can to make a difference. So with that,
thank you,
Governor Cuomo.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess a footnote would be, this is probably your second tour of duty up here, right? Assistant counsel to Governor Nelson Rockefeller.
You know what? I'm looking around the room thinking, how many people were alive the last time I was in this room? And there are maybe half of y'all.
It's a homecoming. To the chairman, to all of you who have agreed to serve on the commission, first, thank you on behalf of the people of this state. This is a truly informed, prestigious group. You're all very busy people, and we truly appreciate that you've taken the time to serve on this commission. Chairman, first and foremost. To my colleagues who are elected officials, Senator Flanagan and Assemblywoman Kathy Nolan, thank you very much for participating. The elected officials being part of the commission, I think, is going to be an important component. So in the conversations, you'll get the legislative realities of the situation. Because as the chairman alluded to, we don't want a theoretical document. We want a practical document. We want a document that can be implemented. So having the senator and the assemblywoman there and with their perspective of the legislative realities, I think is going to be very important. I think everyone has been said. Let me just put an exclamation point in a few of the points. Every official in this building will tell you the two most important issues for the state are, number one, the economy, and number two, public education. And then they'll tell you, as the chairman just pointed out, that public education is the economy, right? Long-term economic development is all about the economy, and competitiveness is all about education. So they are one in and of the same. We have not done as well as we can when it comes to public education. It's not about what did we do wrong, it's what did we do right, and how do we replicate that which we did right. It's not about a blame game and pointing fingers. I've seldom found that winds up producing anything positive. It's how do we improve the system. However, it is inarguable, but that the system needs to be improved. Any of the numbers will tell you that. 73% graduating high school, 37% ready for college. That's what the chancellor was speaking about, and how they see it from the SUNY and the CUNY side. So we have a lot of work to do. And the mandate before this commission is broad. It is soup to nuts. We can't say, well, there was only one piece of the agenda. Look at everything and anything that you think appropriate. Senator Flanagan is exactly right. It's about the teacher. We have problems with recruiting teachers. We have more problems with keeping teachers. We have a problem of measuring teacher performance. We just started with a big breakthrough this year. Chancellor King and I worked on a teacher evaluation plan. That's just starting. That will need to be evolved and will need to become more sophisticated, but I'm very excited about the potential for that, because for the first time you can measure what's working, what's not working. Marianne was mentioning the point about schools in high poverty areas or inner city areas. Senator Flanagan referred to them, the high need schools. I saw this more when I worked in Washington at HUD. We call everything as a school. And a school in East New York or a school in Harlem is called a school. And a school in Westchester or Nassau or Great Neck is called the school. They're performing a function in a very different environment. To call them the same thing and to suggest that the same output is required from both, I think is deceptive from the beginning. The need of a school in a high poverty area where you don't have two parents at home, where the parents are not participating as much, is a fundamentally different task than a school in a wealthier, stronger, more supported community. So talking about just they're all schools and they're all doing the same thing. No. The needs in one are totally different. And they're not just about the education. They're about the social services. They're about health. They're about family counseling. All those support services that you take for granted in other settings. So all schools are the same. No. Well, the only difference between the schools is how much money they get. No. They're dealing with different realities day in and day out. How do you get the families involved? How do you get the parents involved? So it's literally all across the board. How do you use the new technology today, which is an exciting possibility that didn't exist 5, 10, 15 years ago? So the mandate is the entire agenda. What do we expect as a result of your good work and your time? A commission report, but not a commission report the way the stereotype would suggest a commission report. I don't want a report that we put on a shelf. We have many reports on education in this building. We could have saved the lives of many trees if we had curtailed the number of reports. I want an action plan. I want a plan that can be implemented. I want a blueprint. I want a report that can be translated into legislation, which can be translated and enacted into an action plan to make this state's education system the best on the globe. Period. That's what we're looking for. I don't need a theoretical document. I don't need an analysis without solution. I believe government is a service bureau. I believe government is supposed to act. That's why I get paid by the taxpayers of this state, to act, to perform, to do something. And there's no doubt, if you want to be honest, one of the opening lines in this report is going to be that government has failed to do what government should be doing. They've had the same debate in this building for 20 years when it comes to public education. And it's not just a debating society. Frankly, it's a debating society meets lobbying society. Because education discussion, especially in this building, hasn't been about the kids. It's not about the children. It's about the money. And it's about the funding stream. And we spend a lot of money on education in this state. And the priorities of the financial interests, in my opinion, have sometimes trumped the interests of the children. So that has to be broken. The answer is more money, more money. We spend more money than any state in the nation. We're number 38 in graduation rates. More money than any state in the nation. The only people who say the answer is more money are the people who are getting paid the money. It's not about the money. It's not just an economic exercise. That may be a factor, but it is not determinative, and it's not the only discussion. We need all of the above. I told your chairman, who I've known for many years, and I asked him for his assistance in this venture. As you know from his reputation, he, like everyone around this table, has many, many constraints and many pressures and many opportunities, given his talent. And he said, a commission report, and he paused, and I knew what he was thinking. I said, this is not just a commission report. You get me a plan, and I will do everything I can to get it done. And I'm not promising miracles, and Albany isn't the easiest town in the world to get things done, but we've had a pretty good track record over the past 16 months getting things done. And you give us a plan that we can implement, and we will do everything we can to make it a reality. And in terms of an achievement, an accomplishment, a legacy for the people of this state and the children of this state, nothing could be more important than the task that you're about to embark upon. So again, let me end where I began. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your time. It'll be an exciting venture, and hopefully we'll make good progress as a result. Thank you.